On my phone, so I'm going to open the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, and we'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please call the roll.
Trustee Mathis.
Here.
Trustee Gibson.
Here.
Trustee Taveri.
Here.
Trustee Rizzo.
Here.
Mayor Casper.
Here. Item 3 is privilege of the floor. We have no one signed up. Is there anyone that cares to be heard of privilege of the floor tonight? Seeing none, I'll close that. And we'll go to item number 4, which is a public hearing related to the Community Development Block Grant application. Would anybody care to be heard on that application? Seeing none, I'll close that and entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 5 is a resolution authorizing the submission of the application for grant funds to the Office of Community Renewal for the block grant program. So these are all the grants that we talked about and authorized. It's just each of those requires us to authorize the application. So
I'll make a motion.
Second.
any discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 6 is the resolution authorizing the submission of an application for an EFC Engineering and Planning Grant.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye. When we get done with them, I'll just for the record, I'll just kind of reiterate what all these grants are for. So, item number 7 is a resolution authorizing the submission of the New York State Department of State Local Waterfront Revitalization Program grant application.
Skip the vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I did for number 6?
You said, when you
said
said,
it,
you didn't
I
vote.
should interrupt myself. So for item number 6, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 7 is the resolution authorizing the submission of a New York State Department of State Local Waterfront Revitalization Program grant application.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we do have one guest in the audience, so previously we had approved grants for a whole series of projects in the village, including a water project where we're doing some refurbishing of different parts of our water system, including a new water tank, and applying for that grant. We also are looking at doing some upgrades to our sewer pump station, and we're applying funds for that grant. We're also looking at doing some work along our waterfront, including tearing down the old sewage treatment plant and refurbishing the Burr Bridge abutment. So each of these grants just require a motion from us and a resolution so that they can be submitted. And if we're successful, we're looking at money at doing for all those projects. The last project that I didn't mention that we are applying for money for is a grant to study the business district of our downtown and look at ways that we can improve that. So that's what all those mysterious resolutions were for tonight. Item number 8 is a resolution to amend the village property tax bill for parcel 29.84-2-64. They mistakenly took away that person's veterans exemption, and this will reinstate that and give them the refund.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then these next two, I'm going to explain them ahead of time so there's no mystery. So these two are for the records retention grant that we received, and these are the people that are going to manage that grant for us. So item number 9 is to authorize me to sign the contract with Sickler and Murphy for the records retention grant in an amount not to exceed $5,265.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on
Have we
that?
worked with them before? Do we know them?
Yeah.
Are they good?
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 10 is to authorize me to sign the contract with Sickler and Murphy for the consulting service for that same grant in an amount not to exceed $3,750.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 11 is to amend the fireworks vending policy. So we had adopted a vending policy disallowing any vending of food items at all in Freedom Park during the fireworks celebration put on by Jumping Jacks. And there was one discussion before we adopted the policy that we grandfather the Rotary clubs in. In talking to Mark Lansing, the person that we were trying to, recognize the fact that he bears the entire cost of that program, he likes the Rotary and does prefer not to have them. I would recommend that when we amend this policy, that we would grandfather the service clubs in. I don't know if you have any opinion of that, but it's going to be hard for me to say, well, we said yes to Rotary because of what they do for the village, but we say no to Lions because you just haven't done it.
What have you done for us lately?
Yeah. So I just, before we, does anybody have an opinion on that? The service clubs would be Rotary, Lions, Elks, and Kiwanis.
Was that the amendment?
That's what
For
you
service club, that's what you're proposing?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark was okay with that, not just Rotary, or, okay, as long as he's okay with it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should encourage them not to sell onion rings.
All right, now we've got pizza and kettle corn, so.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I'm going to make the motion to amend our fireworks night vending policy to allow vending, food vending by the service clubs that I listed.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was a good question. Item number 12 are my comments. Believe it or not, it's a short list. I just want to, and you guys probably got the email I sent out about the events in the park, these are the mayors. So tomorrow is the DEC Fishing Day. We'll have DEC there for 4 different seminars, one at 10, one at 11, one at 1, and one at 2. Next week on the 20th, we'll be sanding the lake. We've got an intern who's a wildlife biologist intern, so he's going to help me net the fish out of the lake, and the kids will be able to see what lives in there. That'll be at 10 o'clock on the 20th. On the 26th, we'll be making birdhouses at 10 o'clock in the morning and putting them up in the meadows area. So there's nesting boxes for the birdhouses there. Jim, do you remember the date of the scavenger hunt? Is it August 2nd or 3rd?
Is it that Thursday? Are we doing Wednesdays or Thursdays? Wednesdays, right? They're all Wednesdays?
No, some are Wednesday and some are Thursday.
I
So
think it's the second.
I think it's the second.
I thought it was too, but okay.
Yeah.
So August 2nd will be our annual scavenger hunt. So these are all activities that kids can come to the park with their parents and participate. So looking forward to that. And the only other thing is that I have is I got an invitation from the Lutheran Church. This Sunday at noon, they're putting out, I think it's called a turquoise table. So it's basically a picnic table, it's turquoise. It's a program where anybody can get involved in it. You get this turquoise table, or you get a table and you paint it turquoise, and you put it out either in your yard or, in this case, the church's lawn. And it's a place where anyone's invited to gather and chat and talk. So the Lutheran Church is doing that this Sunday at noon, and we're invited to just come in for the grand opening of the turquoise table. Those are my comments. Item 13, correspondence, liaison, and special committee reports. Trustee Mathis.
Nothing to report.
Trustee Gifford.
Hardly anything to report. We had a fire department meeting, no planning board. Nothing to report.
Trustee Tiberio.
Nothing to report.
Trustee Rizzo.
We do have a couple items. We did have the car show was very successful this year. Attendance was down a little bit due to the weather. But it was, everybody I talked to said they had a real good time. The cars may have been down, but the crowd was heavy. So it looked pretty good. We had our first show at Freedom Park. You know, we had our show there, Sawyer Fredericks.
Yep.
And the guys were collecting funds for Freedom Park, and I guess they collected a record amount of money for one show. And that's the record breaker, so we're going to be using that to offset some of the costs for next year. It was really attended very, very well. And He did an awesome job, so. And that's all I have to report for Freedom Park.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, I did meet with Louise Gundrum, who's the chair of the Freedom Park Foundation, regarding these large shows, because it's better for us to have more information ahead of time when these large shows come about. So we talked to her a little bit about that, talked to her a little bit about the fireworks night, and we just got some of the rough edges straightened out as far as that goes. So if there's another big show like Sawyer Fredericks, the village will know well ahead of time so that we can prepare for the things like our emergency services. Crowd control and the parks and everything else. So. Okay, item 14 is departmental reports. Any questions or comments on the departmental reports? Anybody care to move to accept that?
I'll make a motion.
One second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 16 is approval of the minutes of the June 12th regular meeting of the Board of
Your
Trustees.
jump one. Oh,
you're sorry. You know why? Because I'm thinking this is like the fastest agenda we've
I
had.
thought we were gonna get done in 5 minutes. We don't have 10.
You can tell it's summertime, right?
He got his grill on.
I got two 21-year-olds alone in my house and I'm kind of nervous. Item 15 is the audit of claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion on that one? And this one we'll call the roll.
Trustee Mathis?
Yes.
Trustee Gifford?
Yes.
Trustee Tigers?
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo?
Yes.
Mayor Katsas?
Yes. All right, so now item 16 is the approval of the minutes of the regular Board of Trustees on June 12th.
Make a motion.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 17 is the approval of the minutes of the July 5th meeting, special meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Make a motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
And thank you. Item 18 is new business. Does any trustee have any new business for the good of the order?
I got a question, Chris. Could you answer, how are we doing with our paybacks on our loans that we have out to some commercial businesses? I just want to know if they're up to date on that.
We have two that are, I would call in arrears. So I think if you want more information than that, we should do that in a private setting because we may be taking some action against those lenders that have not paid the loans off. But other than that, we've actually done very well, and we've had a couple lenders who've paid their loans back early. So we just, before this meeting, we're talking about one that's paying his loan back early. So we're not doing badly, but yeah, there are a couple accounts that we need to take care of.
So as that money comes back in, is that money that we can lend back out again? or-
Yeah. When it comes back in, we can lend it back out, but it's no longer tied to the HUD regulations. So the money that we lend out for the first time, each $25,000 has to create a job. And it can be lent out for specific things. And it's loose enough so it gets lent relatively easily. But once that money comes back and is paid back, then that is unencumbered and there's not the restriction of creating a job or whatever to lend that back out again.
Okay.
Matter of fact, who was it? Chris Gabriel's was one of the first
Yeah,
ones we
they were
set
paid
up.
out quite a while ago.
And they've done all the renovations to their store, and they paid that back.
Yep. Any other new business for the good of the order? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Thank you very much. That was the shortest one.
Okay.